Dooby dooby doo. We'll start in about 20 seconds. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming. Greatly appreciate the involvement and support. Please know it's greatly appreciated. And I'm going to open it by saying this whole thing's stupid. It's based on misinformation and lies. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chad, who will take it a lot further than I will.
All right. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Mayor. I would like to just kind of open up, really speaking from the heart, that this is about protecting children. It's about protecting their innocence. It's about being a defender of the defenseless. You know, we say things, our national motto is, "In God we trust." We say things like, "May God bless America," and I shudder to think what he thinks when he looks down to even see that this is a debate that we're even having nowadays. So may he have mercy and may his will be done. Getting right to the point, not a single book has been banned in the Huntington Beach Library. Not one. The ACLU has gotten involved in a lawsuit over a book ban that does not exist. And frankly, that's not just wrong, that is utterly deceptive. The ACLU claims to be fighting for the right to read, but what they're really fighting for is to strip parents of their right to decide what is appropriate for their own children. Think about that. The ACLU is not involved in fighting against a book ban. What they're involved in is fighting for a ban against parental rights. They don't want mom and dad to have a say in what's appropriate for their own children. Now, some of the explicit content that's behind this curtain that cannot be shown right now, it is currently in our library as we speak. And if children want to access this sexually explicit material, it is there for them to do so, but they need their parents' approval. The same way that they need their parents' approval if they're going to go on a field trip, they need their parents' approval if they're going to go on a field day with sexually explicit material. And calling this a book ban is about as nonsensical as calling a rated R movie in the theater banned because kids can't get a ticket without their parents. It's nonsense. The ACLU is involved in fighting for the right to give kids sexually explicit material without their parents knowing. And that really tells you everything that you need to know. And let's not forget that this is the same ACLU that once defended NAMBLA. That is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. You heard that right. The North American Man-Boy Love Association. This is a group that advocates for the removal of the age of consent between an adult man that wants to perform sexual acts with a little boy. The ACLU acts as though they are protectors of freedom, but protectors of the defenseless, when in reality, they have been involved in eroding away parental authority, and they have removed safeguards that are in place to protect our children. And so let me be clear. Huntington Beach will never bow to radical activists that are coming for our children. USA, 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 USA. Now finally, they have come to the wrong town to pick this battle to try and fight it out, and they are about to find out that in Huntington Beach, we fight different because we are fighting for that which we love. May God bless America. May God bless Huntington Beach.
So I want to thank you all once more for being here today. It is important that we show the community that, yes, there are many parents out there that want to protect our children. And yes, this is all about protecting our children. We will stop at nothing to protect our children. They're ours. So I'd like to begin by saying we will not be taking any questions because we do have pending litigation. So unfortunately, we won't be doing a back and forth. But I'd like to be absolutely clear that these materials, the ones behind me right here, that we cannot show you, by the way, because we're live streaming this meeting. If we were to show these images, it would be distribution of pornography. That is why we will not be able to unveil this until the very end. But feel free to take all the pictures you want. Because what people are saying right now is that we are banning books on puberty, we're banning books on menstrual cycle, on potty training. That's absolutely not true. Not a book has been banned. They're all in our libraries. Once again, not a single book has been banned. And we're not going to allow the radical people who want this garbage to change the definition of banning. They're in our library. They're accessible. They're still there. Now. So now to our lawsuit. On February 27, 2025, the ACLU announced a lawsuit against city leaders. Their press release, they claimed, and I quote, Huntington Beach officials driven by fear of challenging ideas are trying to erase identities. We are not afraid. We are angry that they're messing with our kids. The statement could not be further from the truth. No identities have been erased. No books have been banned. What I and others have been fighting for over 2.5 years since we've been on council, but I actually started on this fight back in 2015 when I took on the state to try to protect our children at schools. We're simply fighting to protect children from sexually explicit and age-inappropriate content. This is not about banning puberty books. It's not about banning anatomy, and as some activists have falsely claimed. This is about moving books like the ones that will be behind us that explicitly teach people how to perform sex acts, oral sex, anal sex, masturbation, how to manually, one of the books in the children's section literally teaches little girls how to manually stretch their hymen if they're too young and it's too painful to insert a tampon. And yes, they do recommend they go find KY jelly. This level of dishonesty from the opposition is why I stand here today with physical evidence. Since my words have been twisted time and time again, I will show you just a few examples of the books that I believe should be stored in the adult section, rather than being placed in areas labeled as children's section or teens, because teens are still children, and they're still our responsibility. The images... If these images that are behind me were in a Playboy or a Penthouse magazine as a photo, it's 100% pornographic. But politicians up in Sacramento want us to think that just because they take those images and they draw them in colored pencils, all of a sudden they're child-friendly. And you will see how they do that today. Yet we're the ones being sued. The ACLU's press release also referenced a few books that were temporarily relocated. Yes, they were temporarily relocated. They were later returned to their original place once they were reviewed for a second time. And that is a good thing. We rather err on the side of caution than risk hurting a child accidentally. We are We are happy that books were reviewed and later determined to be okay. We're in a bit of uncharted territories, given that no other library in the state of California or anywhere in this country has taken meaningful action to protect children from explicit material like the city of Huntington Beach has. We are the first city to acknowledge this is a problem at a city level, and we're the first city to take action. Now, we decided to take action because our children deserve to browse a library without accidentally opening a book and finding highly sexualized imagery and instructions on BDSM, sadomasochism, and other disturbing content. I have traveled to Sacramento repeatedly, urging state leaders to take a stand to protect our children's innocence, and each time I have been met with the same disturbing reality. The state of California itself is the main culprit. California, you will see in one of the images back here, and by the way, the book is currently in our public library. It's a book recommended by the state of California as a school-wide read for grades 9 through 12. That is the book that teaches BDSM, sadomasochism. It teaches children or people who read it how to insert a fist or two into somebody's vaginal or anal canal safely, step by step. Now, we've discussed some of these issues. We haven't gotten as graphic, but given that the ACLU is taking a position in this, let them explain why they think this is okay for our children. So at what point are we going to pretend that this is about education and not sexual abuse or grooming towards our children? We cannot risk losing any more of our children to this. I have lost all faith in that the state will act to protect our children. In fact, California has not only failed to protect our children, it has actively facilitated the abuse upon them. This specific abuse upon them is just one of them. If the state refuses to protect our children, we will do it ourselves. Huntington Beach will not stand by while other public libraries become distribution centers for sexually explicit material under the guise of inclusivity and education. We will take action locally, legally, and decisively to protect the children in our community. And I have one final challenge to the ACLU and to the media here today, and to every activist who defends this material. If you truly believe these images behind us in these books are appropriate for children, show them on national television uncensored. If you truly believe these images and these books are appropriate for children, show them on national television. Why not, if they have nothing to hide? As I stated earlier, due to pending litigation, we will not be answering any questions at this moment. However, feel free to take as many photos as this backdrop as you want and share it with all your friends so that they know we are not trying to keep puberty and poop training books from children. We're trying to protect them from actual pornography. And us here in the city of Huntington Beach will continue to do everything in our power to protect our children from harmful and inappropriate material. Their safety, innocence, and well-being is not negotiable. And we remain fully committed to ensuring that they're shielded from this content that has no place in their lives. And we'll fight for our parental rights to decide when and if they want this material to be around their children. It is the parents' right, not the states and not the cities. Now, thank you all for joining us. We're now going to unveil this. And mind you, these are just
Gracey,
4 books.
do you want to let them know, Gracey, let them know that they're going to, if they want to leave?
Yes, please. If anybody does not want to see sexually inappropriate material, please leave now. The camera is just warning everybody here so that you know. If you remain here, then I'm assuming you're okay with looking at these images. Okay.